Good morning and welcome to the Billy's Creek Caravan Park and Walking Track. It is another stunning, beautiful morning here. It's an amazing location. It's near the Geraldine Junction and the track is also part of the Strzelecki trail as well. But there's some exciting things I want to show you as we walk around here, but I also want to talk about some key things that I work on with companies that make significant difference to the culture and the positivity of the culture and also their profitability. Often when dealing with companies, they get to a point where they're starting to struggle a little bit. Things aren't going so well and they're looking for how do they improve. And there's a couple of key ways that are standard that most companies will follow. One of the things that they'll do is they'll engage an external consultant to come in and give some advice as to how to improve the operations. And whilst it sounds good in theory, what actually happens is you have some people come in, they consult, they give advice. They really don't have an understanding of the operations of the business because they're not there in the day-to-day. It takes quite a long time because they've got to do interviews and things like that. It's actually quite costly. And the end result is you get a report saying these are the things that you need to do. And in most cases, for most companies that I've seen and worked with where this has happened, is that they will take that report, it'll go on a shelf somewhere and not get looked at again. So it's a great idea, but it's not really that effective in getting some actual tangible results, which is what they're after. The other thing that companies do is that they will have what's called a lessons learnt meeting, and they'll get everyone together. They'll have they might bring in someone external to run through that process, and they'll have a big day where they go, okay, what do we learn from this project? Or what have we learned? What are the things that we can improve? And it'll be all warm and fuzzy and lots of things, lots of lunches, lots of, excitement and rah, rah, rah. Then they'll take those lessons learned away and someone will collate it together and they will put it into a report, and again, similar sort of thing. It'll go on a shelf and not get looked at again, and there'll be no real change affected. And they're the two key primary ways of trying to affect change. And this is why a lot of companies get stuck, because those ways are not really effective. And it surprises me that people keep repeating the same thing over and over again and wondering why they're not getting different results. Just came down here. I came through, if you can see through here, there's nice fern, and then I was walking up there. But I just wanted to, the river's obviously had a bit of water gushing over it. There's been a bit of rain, obviously, in a while, and you can see some of the trees knocked over there. But I just wanted to bring you down here and just show you this absolutely beautiful landscape. I think some people, you can walk across there, but there's a bit too much water in there at the moment. And just look how stunning it is and how quiet and peaceful. Again, no clouds in this. Well, there's a few clouds over there, but generally no clouds. It is a beautiful, smashing morning. So looking at those methods that people trying to implement change, there's a couple of key reasons why they don't work. And one of them is habits. People are creatures of habits. Look at the river down there, it's beautiful. They're creatures of habits. They will operate in the same way. And when you have a thing like a lessons learnt meeting, or you have a consultant come in to give a report, what you do is you get this one-off result. Look at this. Oh, wow. How cool is that? It's so amazing. So you get this one-off result. Come up in front of me, camera. You get this one-off result, and because people are creatures of habit, they don't implement a change. And as for those of you who understand a little bit about habits, it takes 21 to 28 repetitions before you actually get to an effective change happening. And that's why that doesn't work, is this habit. So you have a report come in, they get the report and go, this is what we need to do. And it goes, and people will just continue on with their everyday habits that they're used to. The other element to consider there is the difference between unconscious behaviour and conscious understanding. What do I mean by that? That's where you might have had the experience where you thought you were really good at something, or you thought you understood something really well. And then when you went to do it, you didn't do so well. You actually failed miserably. And then you've probably had the opposite experience of where you didn't think you understood it very well. Then when you went to do it, you surprised yourself with how well that you did that. And that highlights the difference between unconscious action and conscious understanding, because we operate from our unconscious mind. You can't pick up a coffee cup by thinking about all the steps you've got to go through, all the muscles you've got to go through. And that's when we talk about peak performance, which is another topic. But it's understanding how that unconscious action comes into play. And when we're talking about implementing change in an organization, you have to approach it from that perspective of training in a way so that you implement unconscious learning so that people's actions become from that unconscious mind, as opposed to doing what they do. And that's why change becomes difficult, because the changes, one, you're dealing with habits, and two, you haven't taught people at an unconscious level as to how to affect that change. There are reasons why that fails. But this is what I do with companies, and the companies that have implemented this have seen significant changes at no cost to how their organization operates, to the improvement of the culture, and also their profitability. I've just stopped again to show you. I'm actually on the other side. Before I was over that way somewhere. The track is there. And I came down here because I saw these, you can see these rocks here, but what I didn't notice, again, with the heavy rains that have been here recently, it's washed a bit away, so I can't get over there. But I wanted to take you over. Oh, there's some cockies up there. But I guess the point of stopping and showing you this is just as to show you to, as an example of taking time to just have those moments where you just stop and relax, reflect, put that balance in your life, because it is really important when we're dealing with our mental health to create that balance. Just enjoy the few things around you, be grateful for what we have, because gratitude is such a key element in having a strong mental health. But again, look at this. This is really amazing. And at some point, I'm not sure where I'm going to edit this together, but that's the track that I walked down before that was really steep. But yeah, just take that time to stop and enjoy. Even if it's 5 minutes, you'll feel better for it. So what I do is I implement what I call a continuous improvement meeting, which is what it says it is. It's about continuous improvement. And the meetings start on time, finish on time, exactly on time, finish on time. And that sets a precedent for other things like time management and things like that. But what I do for the people coming, and we always keep the meetings roughly about 10 people, no more than 10. And if you're doing this by yourself, you can just go through the steps yourself. And at the first meeting, everyone is asked to bring their top 2 problems. And don't be afraid of problems, because problems are actually useful information that helps you get to solve what the issues are. So everyone comes in with their top 2 problems, and I stand and I put them all on the whiteboard, on one side of the whiteboard. And then I ask the team as a group to collectively rank those problems. And so we go through and we sort as a group what they think is the most important to least important. We put that on the whiteboard. And then I ask them, can we solve all those problems at once? And I'm yet to get someone say yes. So everyone, it has common sense that they recognize these can't be fixed straight away. So I then say, well, what if we focus on these top 2 problems, just the top 2 only, and see if we can collectively solve them. And once we've solved them, move on to the next 2 problems. And they all agree. So then we go through the room and everyone puts through a solution. So we do what's similar to a medical differential diagnosis. We thrash it out and come up with solutions. And then everyone at the end of the meeting has a task to help solve one of those top 2 problems. And it's a task they set themselves. So there's an accountability there. It's what can you get done by the next meeting that's going to help solve this problem. And that's where, and through that process, what I've found is that people really embrace that change. And it's quite funny in those meetings where there's always one person at the start sitting up the back with their arms crossed because they don't want to be there, don't want to be part of that process. And then by, after a couple of weeks, they're the ones up the front fully embracing it. But everyone goes away, they come back with they do the solution, and that's where I implement what I call the no excuse policy. And what the no excuse policy is that if you don't do your task, the task that you set yourself, when you come to the next meeting, you can't give an excuse. This is quite steep going down here, so I'm just being, again, a little bit careful, a little bit slippery. So you can't, there's no blame or anything like that. You just can't give an excuse. All you can say is, I didn't do my task. And remember, this is a task that you had set yourself. And it's quite amazing what that does for accountability in an organization. When people set their own tasks, and then if they don't do it, they can't offer an excuse. So that's, it's amazing what gets done with that policy in place, a no excuse policy. But what I've found is there's two things that come out of that. That process is going through that continuous improvement meeting, is that one, so many problems get solved. But two, I find that complaints within the organization disappear, which really improves the culture and how people approach their life. Because why does it disappear? Well, they can see where their problem fits into the bigger picture. And as a result, they feel heard, but they understand where it fits, so they don't feel like they're missing out. And the other part that I've found is once we've got this collective list that people are working on, what people do is they feel empowered, so they actually pick items that are lower down on the list and go and fix them themselves as well. So you find that all of a sudden, after 12 months, well, it's a lot quicker, but after 12 months, the organization is completely different as far as the culture. People are happier, they're more productive, they're enjoying life. It gives a whole different balance to how the organization operates. So that's the process that I use to implement change. So you have a meeting. Regular weekly meeting goes for half an hour at most, no more than 10 people. You ask everybody to bring their top 2 problems. You then put those problems on the board. Everyone collectively ranks those problems, and then you focus on the top 2, and everyone has a task to do from those top 2. They set their own task, and then when you meet next time, if they haven't done the task, you implement the no excuse policy. So people, there's no blame. Again, no blame. But you just simply, all they can say is, I didn't do it. And that, as I said, results in a dramatic shift in the culture of the organization. People really, really enjoy their work. They get so much more done. There's more productivity, and the organization as a whole just flourishes. So put those in place, see how it goes. And I'm going to continue to enjoy, just check this out. Come and have a look at this. Come here, Mr. Cameraman. He's not coming with me. But check out this water just bubbling through here. Just going to be careful not to, I think you could grow some wasabi in here by the way this is. This kind of will be great for growing wasabi. But now I'm just going to enjoy, like over there, the sun's coming through the trees, the forest. Look out, there's these beautiful trees. It's just such a beautiful place to be. Thank you for joining me at the Billy's Creek walking track as part of the Morwell National Park. Check it out. It's such a beautiful place to enjoy nature and the environment.